Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of IoT India's Walk the Tech Talk series season 2 in association with India Automated. In case you have missed out on any of our previous episodes or episodes of season 1 of Walk the Tech Talk series, then please do check them out on IoT India's YouTube channel. Before we proceed with today's session, I would like to give you a sneak peek into the world of the IoT. The Institution of Engineering and Technology is one of the oldest and largest professional society for engineers. Soon to turn 150, our mission is to engineer a better world. Our areas of focus include future technologies, future of mobility and transport, and future of work. In case you would like to become a member of the IET, all that you will need to do is send us an email at indiamembership@theiet.in. All right. Now, without further delay, we will dive right into the session. And I would like to welcome on stage your host for this series, Mr. Pranjal Sharma, the author of India Automated, to introduce the topic of discussion and also our speaker guest for today. Hi, Pranjal.
Hello, Jani.
Over to you. I'm going to be away. You can go ahead and introduce our speaker guest and also the topic for discussion.
Thank you. And a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us for this edition of Walk the Tech Talk. Joining me today is Anil Gupta, Chairman and MD of Havells India. I'm sure the brand is not unknown to all of you. It's a very, very popular brand in consumer electricals, and they've expanded and diversified into a range of products and several acquisitions, which I'm sure you would have heard of. But welcome, Anil, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Pranjal. Thank you for having me on.
So Anil, your Havells has a fantastic legacy of being in the technology sector by dint of producing and manufacturing products across a wide range. But in the recent years, there has been a fresh wave of usage and deployment of cutting edge emerging technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. So can you give us a glimpse of
Sorry, Pranjal, the voice broke. Can you give a glimpse of?
So can you give us a glimpse of how the journey of Havells, at what point did the emerging technologies started playing an important role across the value chain?
Yeah, Pranjal, I think the important word here is the across the supply chain, because, as you can very well understand, as the businesses were growing, the first level of digitization comes in the enterprise itself. So, putting your ERP systems into place and getting the enterprise backbone ready for digitization. So till about, I would say, right from the inception, when the computer started, till about 2015 or 16, that was the major focus of digitization or IT in any company. During the last 5 or 6 years, the digitization journey started going outward of the company. So the touch points that you have for a company like Havells, our touch points were the distribution channel. We have thousands of dealers and distributors who work with the company, and we took the digitization to that level. Today, we have over 150,000 retailers selling Havells products. And today we are very proud to say that all of them are digitally capable, and thanks to this whole digital wave during the last few years and accentuated by the corona pandemic itself. Today, even in rural areas, people are placing their orders on the company directly. Not just the consumers, but the small retailers in small towns. So to make that digitization possible in the last few years, I think there's a lot of focus at Havells, making our dealers and retailers empowered with all the information and technology available to them on their mobile phones for the company running.
And so that's very interesting, Anil, that you mentioned that you created an internal platform of sorts, which is quite a unique platform, because while everybody talks of e-commerce externally, you created something of something like that internally. Can you help us understand a bit better?
Yeah, so interestingly, I would say that how we could marry the online with the offline. During the last couple of years, we made a platform where these small dealers and retailers could come and interact with the company in whatever the dealings are. They could do that with the company directly. However, during this pandemic, what we were also able to do was that while the consumer was going more and more online, but they were expecting the services to be done by their offline channel, which is very close to their home. So we created an online to offline channel just in the last 6 months, wherein the consumer today need not go to an Amazon or Flipkart. He can go to an Havells store. He or she can go to a Havells e-store and place an order, wherein the order is placed, but it is actually serviced by maybe their next door electrical outlet, which is maybe 200 meters away from their house. So all the electrical channel of Havells came onto this e-store of Havells, and today there is a seamless connection between the consumer and the neighborhood store without them actually interacting with each other, but they are interacting through the online platform at Havells. So this is something which has been started by in the first time in the industry. I mean, we've got examples in the last few months wherein the customer has placed an order because of the lockdown. They were wanting let's say a Havells trimmer or a Havells iron at home, and they were not able to go out or not even. So the order was placed within 30 minutes. The product was delivered to them from their electrical outlet, which actually they didn't know that they had placed the order there. So those are the kind of things that we have been able to connect the distribution channel very well on the platform.
That's fantastic. You're delivering electronic and electrical products faster than a pizza. So that's quite exciting. You also talked about the fact that Internet of Things and IoT is also being used a lot in the value chain that you have. How is that playing out?
So if we talk about the consumer directly, so we reached out to the distributors and dealers, but the consumer, this whole IoT as a in the consumer appliances started coming a couple of years back, but it was very sporadic. It was made to make the life a bit simpler for the consumer. The product could be controlled through the mobile phone. So if it's a light or a fan, the person could use the mobile phone to actually regulate the speed of the fan. But the real IoT actually means connected products. So it's not just connected through your mobile phone, but the communication between various products in your home and how the product is making the life simpler for the consumer. And so that technology is now getting developed, and we are working on that. So just to give you an example, that we have fans in our product portfolio, we have air conditioners in our product portfolio. And today the government has come out with a mandate that you need to have the AC at least running at 24 degrees. But the real comfort comes in a climate like India, where the fan is also running and the AC is also running. And here there is a chance of actually saving electricity if you keep the air conditioner. So if the temperature reaches a certain extent, maybe after a couple of years, if the fan is running, you don't need the air conditioner. But generally, because of inertia, the AC continues to run. But through IoT, it is very much possible that the fan and air conditioner can communicate with each other, right? And so when the fan senses the temperature, it increases the speed and actually puts the AC off. And there you can save electricity for another couple of hours till the temperature reaches maybe 27, 28 degrees, and then the air conditioner comes back on. So those are the things which can become possible, in the future. We're coming out with a product, for example, servicing of water purifiers. We have water purifiers, and today, if the purifiers or the filters go bad, then the consumer calls at the service. But if there's a communication directly to our service network from the product itself, and the before the filter goes off 2 or 3 days before, our service person reaches and replaces the filters. So those are the kind of things which will happen in the future. So many new possibilities are coming up for in the Internet of Things for the consumers.
This is very fascinating, Anil, because we have spoken about and I've written about predictive maintenance for industrial applications. Manufacturing plants have been doing it. Remote fixing of and maintenance of various machineries has also been made possible, and that's fairly mainstream now in the large enterprises. But what you're saying is quite fascinating, which is that predictive maintenance for home appliances, for consumer products, this is quite fascinating. Now, how does this roll out? Do you also need to then educate the consumer, because you certainly don't want them to be surprised by a guy knocking on the door saying your appliance is not working. So it's a completely new ecosystem that you will develop around this.
Yeah, actually, if you see that in the last 6 months, that's where I feel that Corona has had various negative impacts. I mean, we've seen economy going down and all, but one thing which has come out is the adoption of technology by a normal consumer has increased exponentially. And I think going forward, the more we can educate the consumer and not through videos. I mean, we've in the last 6 months we've seen many of the consumers have actually serviced the products themselves just by a do-it-yourself video that we've been able to send to them. So I think the intelligence of the consumer is also awakened completely. It's not completely dependent on the company. And I think going forward, just like in any mobile phone or any technology online, things are now being adopted so fast by the younger generation. I think this will become not a big challenge in the future of educating the consumer of all the things that can happen, for bettering their lives. For example, even the products that they're using, what kind of electricity they're consuming, everything is coming on the app, where they can save electricity, how much they're contributing to the green energy for the community. I think more and more consumers are becoming aware, and I think the education level is becoming easier.
But that's again a very interesting topic, Anil. You've been a champion of energy efficiency as an industry leader as well. So IoT for consumers, so consumption, so both demand side and supply side has to be managed for efficient energy usage. So what you're saying is that IoT can really make a big difference on the demand side of energy consumption, right?
Absolutely. I think with better knowledge, with better data, a consumer, just like you've written in your book also about industries, where with Industry 4.0, with better knowledge and data, the industry can save a lot on energy consumption through preventive maintenance, through better data. Same thing can happen with IoT for a normal consumer, a household consumer as well. There are so many energy guzzling products in the house these days, including air conditioners, refrigerators, fans, washing machines. So once you have data at your hand, once you have information, you can play around so much to become more and more energy efficient.
What is your vision, Anil, in terms of next few years in India? What kind of atmosphere do you see for this sector in terms of usage of technology, emerging technologies, some of which we may not even have anticipated, because consumers, as you said, in the last few months now are depending so much more on technology. But one great thing that you've done is that you're also supporting small businesses by creating a platform for them. At the same time, you're enabling and empowering consumers. So, what is the direction in which the larger industry should go? Do you see that happening across the industry, or do you think that right now Havels is going to be, in a bit of a lonely place, and other industry players will have to catch up? What would you like the entire industry to come together on this front?
I guess India is in a sweet spot because many times it has happened in the last 25 years that we take a leapfrog in certain technologies, like just like when cellular technology came, because we adopted it a bit late, we leapfrogged the other parts of the world. Similarly, if you see data consumption in India today is probably per capita one of the highest and at the lowest cost. So I think in terms of technology, Indians know how to do things better, faster, adopt things faster at a much lower cost. And that's why I feel going forward, I'm very excited by the opportunity that, the combination of low cost of data, the combination of the fact that even rural consumers are using data to a great extent, there is huge amount of possibility for the industry to cater to the needs of the consumers in the coming times. And I think many new ways of reaching out to the consumer and making life simpler for the consumer will come up. And I think more and more industries will definitely follow. They'll continue to invest. I would say that yes, Havels has been at an advantage of being ahead in this. But I think the way things are moving fast, consumer will drive the industries, not the industries will not drive the consumers. So hopefully the consumers will be in a much better demanding position.
Finally, Anil, again, you made a very, very insightful point about consumption behavior. I think what you're also saying is that there is still a lot of demand across the country in various pockets, which is maybe trapped. It's really a matter of using technology to release that demand and enable the consumer to reach a seller directly. I think that's what technology and IoT can perhaps enable, as you're suggesting.
I agree 100%. I mean, there is latent demand. India is a 1.4 billion population country. I think the kind of opportunity that this country, in terms of demand, has is just if you compare ourselves with China in terms of consumption, every product category at least there is 5 times more consumption. Whether you take circuit breakers or air conditioners or fans or anything. So India is lying at that place where the next 10, 20 years, things can explode here in a great way.
Anil, thank you so much for joining us. And as you're saying, things will explode and consumption will increase. And that's a great also thought for revival of the economy. But the key thing is to use technology in a smart way, as you have been doing at Havels. Thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you very much, Pranjal. Thank you so much.